What was it like back in 1969 with Neil Armstrong and the moon landing and everything? Was that an exciting time period?
Yeah,
it's kind of a silly question.
Well,
but
1969 was very exciting. One of the reasons that it is exciting
Because
about the moon landing is we had 1968, which is, I think, one of the worst years that ever was. We didn't need hell. We had 1968. 2 assassinations, riots, everything, all kinds of stuff like that. And then 1969, after the moon landing, was seen as, oh, finally something went well. You know, finally there's a cohesiveness about the country. And everybody stayed up late. It was around midnight, if I remember. But we haven't had anything like that, you know, any sort of, as a national experience of joy and wonderment that I can't think since then. The closest thing is...
The royal wedding.
Good scientist.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, you know, the NASA hasn't had anything either. I mean, you have to remember that NASA canceled the moon launch. There were 3 moon launches still yet to happen that were canceled for lack of interest. And the 3, if you want to go see the rockets, they're still lying on the ground around the country.
Yeah, and I saw a few of them, and when I went down a couple years ago to Washington, I went to the Air and Space Museum, and I saw some of the leftover Apollo rockets and capsules.
They're full. The full Saturn V rocket, whatever is one. There's one in Houston. It's NASA's headquarters, at least the Johnson Space Center. There's one in Huntsville, Alabama, when they made them, and the third one, I'm trying to remember where the third one is, but there's nothing sadder than seeing a Saturn V fully length rocket lying on the
greatest
ground
machine ever
with birds
made.
nesting in it.
The greatest machine ever made. The only thing that the only object that accomplished putting a man on another celestial body.
But there are people who believe that the Large Hadron Collider is equally a big project and is equally a big event as and more complex, the most complex machine ever made. And I think it's because it didn't happen in this country, it doesn't get the publicity, doesn't get the kudos that it gets around the rest of the world.
What do you think about the Space Shuttle, which was just recently retired? There's mixed reactions. Some think it was great to have a Space Shuttle. Some felt that the Space Shuttle, why do we just spend 30 years of time running around low Earth orbit?
What's wrong with relying on the Russians, to get to the space station? Oh, wait a second. We have a problem with the Russians right now.
Yeah, you never know. You know, watch out for people who make predictions. You know, they're mostly wrong all the time.
On the Space Shuttle.
The Space Shuttle was created by committee. It was a lot of the job of the Space Shuttle was to move stuff into low Earth orbit. The Pentagon, which if you want to get something done, have it put in the Defense Department budget, even to this day. If you want to get some money, it's where the real money is. Very few people question it. That's why DARPA was created, because it's in the Defense Department. You do a lot of interesting research there. And it's the Department of Defense needed a big, heavy body to lift stuff, secret satellites into space, so they were behind the Space Shuttle. And it was, you know, it got the Hubble Space Telescope in, which I think is one of the 2 crown jewels of the space program. One is the Hubble, and the other are the Mars Rovers. Without those 2, the space program would be almost invisible because no one even knows that there's.
What about the Voyagers?
Voyagers were way before that. The Voyagers were in the mid-70s, so they came before the Space Shuttle.
I know, but I was just talking about some great.
But the Voyagers never sent any pictures back. You know, the Voyagers, once they're out past Mars and are still flying out there, they're going toward the edge of the solar system or past them.
Wait, sent pictures back? You mean, what about?
I thought they sent a lot of pictures back.
But they're not now sending pictures back. They sent great pictures of the planets, but that was years ago. Now we still have a robot on Mars that was supposed to go for a 3-hour tour, and it's there for 10 years. It was 3 months, 30 days. Now they're 10 years, collecting data, sending stuff back. And we're not the only ones doing this stuff now. You forget the Indians, the Chinese, the Japanese. They're all part of the space program. The Chinese will beat us. They're going to eat our lunch to some of these things because they have all this money.
I believe they're on the moon with Jade Rabbit.
The Jade Rabbit actually got resurrected.
How can you not forget that? That's a perfect name. They know marketing. I remembered it. I don't remember anything. Jade Rabbit.
First day of class, right? When we first started.
Yeah, it's actually went silent for a while because it was not engineered as well as it could have been, and then suddenly it came to life. I think last week or two.